So here's a full tutorial for this adorable little cabinet piece. It's such a cute little piece, and I really think it's handmade. It's solid wood and just really unique, cute design with these little doors that open. So with every single piece, I give it a thorough cleaning before I start refinishing. And here I'm using my custom mix of water, my thieves cleaner, and a little bit of lemon essential oil to help with the smell. I just go ahead and spray down the entire piece inside and out, top and bottom, and just really like saturate the wood with the solution really well. Let it soak in for just a couple minutes, and then I wipe it off with a clean cloth. This piece wasn't really too dirty. I've had it in my shed for a while, so it didn't need any scrubbing or anything. I had actually started to refinish it before. About a year ago, you can see that I painted the base part black and I stained the top and bottom a dark stain. But I kind of felt like it was giving a little bit too of a farmhouse vibe. And so I decided to do something different with it. And this time around, I think I'm going to go neutral. I think with this really cute, unique style that it has, it needs more of a neutral paint color so that the cute style of the piece can stand out instead of the colors of it. So I'm going with a beautiful light tan neutral so that this piece will be able to match pretty much any colors and decorating style that someone might have. So I'm just going to protect my patio and put this piece of cardboard down to paint on so I don't get any paint drips on the ground. And now I'm going to use one of my favorite paints, Fusion Mineral, in the shade Algonquin. And I'm just going to pour the paint that I need, the amount that I need, into a separate container so that I don't get dust and debris in the actual paint can. It just preserves your paint and keeps it a little bit nicer for a little bit longer. And then here's the Fusion Mineral Extender, which I use every single time. It just makes the paint so much easier to work with. It makes it nice and smooth, and it makes it dry a little bit slower so that you have a little bit more working time. So I really recommend using the extender. If you've been using Fusion for a while and you're not happy with it, or you aren't sure if it's one of your favorite paints, trust me, when you start using the extender, you will be blown away. It really does change this paint so much and makes it a lot more user-friendly. So basically, I pour in about a quarter to a half a cup of paint, and then I just kind of do like a little splash of the extender and mix it up. And basically, if it's working well, then that means that I got the right amounts, and if not, then I might put a little bit more in if needed. So for this piece, I'm going to start with the legs. When a piece has kind of curved different legs like this, then that's usually what I start with, especially if I'm painting the entire piece, and like I'm doing for this one, and I'm not staining the top or bottom or any part of it. So I'm just going to flip it over and go from the bottom up and make sure that I paint everything, even if it seems like it's not going to be visible or that it might not be visible. You still want to paint it, especially with something this size. You never know if somebody might put it up on something, or it might be on, if a piece of furniture is ever, up at the top of a stairway or another level up, then you can easily see the underneath part. And so if anything is not painted, then that obviously does not look very good. So I always make sure that I paint the under parts of all my furniture and any ledges or edges that just might stick out a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the legs right here, and then I actually do paint the entire bottom of this piece just to make sure that it looks that it's fully covered and that it looks professional. So I did remove the doors on this piece because the hinges are actually on the outside, and I wasn't sure if I was going to paint those or I wanted them to stand out or not. So I went ahead and took off the doors, and now I'm just painting those separately. So I'm going to paint the inside carefully and make sure I get into all those little crevices. Since it has kind of that framed style, there's easily going to be parts that you could miss if you're not careful. So taking the doors off also ensures that you won't miss any of the little crevices or corners, because you can turn them upside down, flip them over, and make sure you can see that every spot is completely covered. Here's also a little trick that I like to do is whenever I have a little edge like this, I like to use a smaller paintbrush, and that way I don't have any globs or drips that go over the side. It works really well when you have a piece that you're completely painting from top to bottom, and you don't want to mess up the finish, on the top part that you already did. So a little paintbrush like this can really come in handy. Okay, so once I had painted this whole piece, I just thought it was kind of boring and plain, and it needed a little something. So I looked in my collection of Would You Bend accent pieces, and I found this pretty little scroll piece, and I thought it would fit perfectly on this piece. So I put one on each side, and I'll have to do another tutorial where I show you how to apply these Would You Bend accent pieces. It's really, really simple, and they're pretty affordable, and it's just a great way to add a really unique, custom look to your piece. Or if like mine, you thought it was too plain and it needed a little something. So, and they have a lot of different styles, and designs to choose from. So it really is a great way to add kind of a different cool look to your piece. So I applied those on the sides, and I just had to sand down a little bit, and so now I just repainted the part that I needed to paint over again, and I painted all the little crevices and swirls on the piece. So I used my regular zebra paintbrush, to get the main amount of paint on, and then I'm taking this small little artist brush to get into all the corners and nooks and crannies. I'm ready to protect my piece with a top coat. So I'm using the Real Milk Paint Company finishing cream in a low sheen. This is such a beautiful finish. It really gives it that gorgeous, perfect satin sheen that's not too glossy but not quite matte. And it's really such a modern finish for over a painted piece like this, especially when it's in this beautiful neutral color that's also really a modern color right now. And it's really easy to apply. I just have an old sock rag that I'm using, and I wipe it on. You can go over it pretty much as needed. You don't have to worry about, it drying and then you getting lap lines or anything. It's just really, really easy to work with. So I would highly recommend checking out that product. And so I just went ahead and did the entire piece the same way as the top, just making sure to protect every surface that I painted and to give it all the same finish. And now for the most exciting part, installing the hardware back on. I love doing this because it's just the final step that brings the whole piece together. This was not the original hardware. I actually removed the hardware at some point and I could never find it again, but I actually think these beautiful antique drop handles that I had from another piece match this one even more perfectly, so I'm really happy with them. And all I had to do was soak them in a little bit of water and Dawn dish soap, and I took a scrub brush and cleaned them off a little bit. I did not polish them because I wanted to, I want the overall look and feel of the piece to be that vintage antique vibe, and I just thought that, the kind of tarnished brass would match that perfectly. So now here's that final look. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions and thoughts on this cute little piece. And please let me know what you would use this for. I'd really love to hear your ideas because I'm so curious what other people would do with it. Here's that before one more time, and here's the after. Thanks again for watching this video, and please stay tuned for the next furniture flip. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tips, tricks, product reviews, and of course, furniture restorations. See you next time.